I mentioned in my video with John Cleese that I have a big collection of Jim Henson books. I literally have every Jim Henson book I can find. Jim Henson's Doodles and Designs, a Muppet sketchbook. It's so cool. It's just like all of Jim Henson's early, Designs and Doodles, as the title would suggest. This one's more of a kid's book. Jim Henson, the guy who played with puppets. There's actually a lot of kids' books about Jim Henson, which, sure, I guess that's the thing. This one's I Am Jim Henson. It's all first person, but it's not actually by Jim Henson. It's by Brad Meltzer. I think this is part of a series, Ordinary People That Change the World, so they're all written first person from the point of view of the person they're about. Jim Henson, the biography, one of the first ones I read, very good. This one's a collection of quotes, anecdotes, and stories. It's Not Easy Being Green and Other Things to Consider. So this one is by Jim Henson because it's all quotes from him. Here's some simple advice. Always be yourself, never take yourself too seriously, and beware of advice from experts, pigs, and members of parliament. This one I find very relatable. A driver was talking to me today asking, did you ever, in your wildest dreams, think you would have success like this? The honest answer to this, which I do occasionally admit, is that yes, I've always known I would be very successful in anything I decided to do. And it turned out to be puppetry. There's a similar quote from Picasso. He said, when he was a kid, his mum always said, whatever you do, you will be the best at. If you're a general, you'll take over the world. So I went into paintings and became Picasso. And that is how I feel too. And I'm not successful at anything yet, so it's a bit weird for me to say that. But in 20 years' time, if I am successful, you can look back and be like, oh, he knew it was gonna happen. If it doesn't happen, this will just be an embarrassing footnote that no one ever sees. This one's an ex-library book, so it's a bit tattered. Jim Henson, From Puppets to Muppets, Geraldine Woods. So it's another biography, but a much, much less detailed one. This is another one of these illustrated books for kids. Who Was Jim Henson? And again, it's a series. I don't know what the series is called. Who Was, I guess. This was the first Muppet book I ever got. I got this as a kid. It's called The Art of the Muppets, and it was specifically made for a 1975, 79 New York exhibit. And so they did the exhibit and then they released this book in conjunction with it. And I've always loved this book. This one's Imagination Illustrated, the Jim Henson Journal. So every day Jim Henson would keep a journal of a single sentence, just being like, here's what I did today. So they've taken that and illustrated every page, or taken his illustrations and photos from his life and just made it this beautifully, beautifully rich book. December 20th, Santa Claus Switch Air. Really just fragments of what he's doing. And he has hirings and firings in here. It's just a single sentence per day history of Jim Henson. But they've done such a good job putting this book together. It's beautiful. Jim Henson, The Works. I've never actually opened this one before. I don't even know what it is. I think it's another, it's a coffee table book. It's a Jim Henson coffee table book. So here's a Big Bird page. Here's The Muppet Show with Jim and Frank. I used to own so much crap, and so I've kind of curbed my hoarding tendencies and just focused on Jim Henson books. This one I've actually just finished reading earlier this year. It's called Make Art, Make Money by Elizabeth Hyde Stevens. It's an examination of Jim Henson's relationship with art and money, and I read it at such a good time in my life because I was in business mode. And this book is really Jim Henson made money to make art, and he made his art make money so he could make more art, and that was all he wanted to do. And I was like, that's all I want to do. Every dollar I have either goes to Henry or to rent or to food, but anything I have left over goes to more art. And that's how Jim Henson lived, and this is just how to make that sustainable. And lastly, this is another ex-library book, The Value of Imagination, the story of Jim Henson. And the front cover is, I understand what it is. First of all, it's him doing Fozzie Bear, which is weird because that was Frank Oz. But secondly, they've just got Fozzie's legs there and they look like testicles. So I've not looked into this one yet. What a series of poor decisions. It's another autobiography for kids. Apparently the most popular genre in the world. That was my Jim Henson collection. That was my ramble video for the day. I hope you're well, and I will see you next time.